Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Fanalysis, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm Ratty 4, this is Grey Jedi 91.
Hey.
And this is Evan Nova 95.
I solemnly swear I am up to no good.
Lead us in with a summary for this chapter, Matt.
This is chapter 14, Norbert the Norwegian Ridgeback, who's a dragon.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Right. He's a dragon that hatches from his egg, and in this chapter, and after he does that, or, well, she, right? We don't know that. After the dragon does that, it causes all kinds of, wreaks all kinds of havoc, and the group has to hatch a plan to get it out of there. That's what this chapter is about.
I see what you did there.
It has to hatch
So what I
a
did.
plan.
Yeah, dude.
It's genius, Matt.
Do y'all get it yet?
But yeah, Quirrell is apparently holding up. He hasn't broken at this point from their perspective, and it's exam season. Hermione is in revision mode.
Oh, that's right.
Hermione, basically.
They're only 10 weeks away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I love how
she's-
she uses Nicholas Flamel as an example of how that's not that long.
Yeah, like she's
Yeah.
really marked there. I totally agree with Ron for once on that one.
Yeah.
It's funny though because it's clearly what's something that she would do, and I like that she's kind of trying to encourage #force the others to do the same kind of
We're
stuff as
doing
well.
this as well.
Yeah, she does not give up. She's constantly trying to get them to succeed, which is probably a good thing because I don't think they would have done anywhere near as well without her. If nothing else, on the
Yeah.
homework front.
Like in
Most
a later
likely.
book, but in a later book, this streak in her, it causes her to give the worst gift that anyone has ever
Oh,
given
yes.
anyone, which is like a singing like homework planner that's annoying as fuck. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's
To be fair,
terrible.
Harry never uses any of his presents anyway, so it's
That's true.
it's largely
Oh.
irrelevant.
Especially the best ones.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so they're in the library revising for that, and that's kind of the setup for when they meet Hagrid, who is also for some reason in the library. Ron, who is just
Being
sick of this
incredibly
revision.
stealthy.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm amazed that they caught him.
But Ron's sick of this homework. He just in revision. He just goes to check what he was looking up in the library shelves. Brings back a stack of books on dragons, which sets up what we know to have hatched later on in the chapter, because it doesn't actually state that he has a dragon until right up to the point it's mentioned outright. And yeah, they encounter him. They tell him they know about Flamel, and it's like, shut up, don't just blabber about it in the very quiet library where anyone can hear you. And he's not wrong. They are being a bit stupid. Yes, they've discovered this information, and congratulations to them. But let's not blow the whole secret because of their nosiness. And he invites them to his hut later on to talk about it, which we then just basically go to immediately afterwards, an hour later. And he presents the egg that Ron immediately.
Well,
recognises
they do
what it
talk
is.
about Flamel a bit more at first before they notice the
True,
egg.
true.
And
That's
can I just say,
right.
I
Yeah.
love how Hermione goes about convincing him to reveal
Yes.
more. Like she
Yes.
starts she totally like Jedi mind tricks him, like starts flattering him. It's like, oh, Dumbledore would totally trust you and all that. You know everything, and he's like playing to his pride is brilliant.
I just want to know who else he trusts as much as he does. And Harry and Ron's response to that when they're just beaming at her. It's brilliant to see them appreciating her genius in the moment.
But I like that, like she's being manipulative, but I like that she's not being like malicious about it.
Yeah, it's an example of just
She's still polite,
well-meaning and good manipulation.
This is actually, I just realized this is probably one of the only times she does this, because later on when she tries this sort of thing, she's not very slick at all.
Yeah,
Nah.
it's one of those special occasions where because it's Hagrid, it kind of works. But at the same time, it's a really smart move.
Who's not the sharpest tool in the shed,
But
as far
it's
as
still
this kind of
smart,
stuff
and
is
the fact that it
concerned.
just comes off
Yeah.
immediately and she just goes straight into that mode. Yeah, I like how it's one of the early moments where the other two are proud of her. Like I don't know why, but just the kind
Because
of
she's
brotherly pride they have with her is brilliant.
it's
Word
almost
play.
like look at her breaking the rules.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Who are you and what have you done with Hermione Granger? It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love those moments.
And from this sequence, we learn that there are multiple spells from multiple teachers, placed in front of the stone. So
We have McGonagall,
They-
Sprouts, Quirrell, Snape, Dumbledore, Hagrid.
No Flitwick.
Flitwick.
It has to be
Yeah,
a Flitwick.
is
He's
the
the
key.
keys,
Yeah,
right?
the keys.
Yeah.
yes,
And those are all of them, I
Sprout,
believe.
Flitwick, McGonagall. Quirrell, Dumbledore, yeah, Snape.
Excellent, yeah. And so we will obviously find out what those are later, but Hagrid doesn't know because they only have been specifically telling Dumbledore all of their individual enchantments. So they find, they realise that okay, maybe it's a little bit safer than we thought if Dumbledore's done it and such.
Yeah.
So, and then we have the egg.
Snape used one of them, shocks them.
Yes, yeah, they were like, "What? No, how can that happen?" I was like, "Guys, calm down. It's still there's still other protections." But then obviously explains why they're worried and the fact that if he's one of the protectees, he can easily ask the others without it being suspicious what they put. So that's why they're concerned. But this is the point where it mentions the heat and it's horrifically hot in the hut, and they go, "Why? Why is it this hot?" Sit back, noticing the egg when Hagrid shiftily looks non-subtly towards it. Ron immediately identifies it. I like the fact that it's Ron that leaps over it, because again, once again, he's the kind of key to the knowledge of the world, the general knowledge stuff that isn't book learnt like Hermione, and also he has Charlie as a brother, so it makes perfect sense that he's the key for that one.
Yeah, he knows in specific detail. He goes by the Warlocks Convention of 1709.
Yes, everyone knows that.
Yeah,
do they?
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyone who grew up in this world, in this country, I suppose knows. Yeah.
Yeah, but even so, that's
pure
one of the
bloods,
examples.
Pure bloods.
Yeah,
all pure bloods know it. I think that's what he means when he says that.
Yeah, it's even so though that the specific year is one of those things that I'm thinking, are you sure, Ron?
I think. Yeah, maybe not that, but if you have a brother who's a magical creatures nerd in the house,
of course, yeah. It's that extra little tidbit that he knows. Everyone knows it's illegal, but beyond that,
I always like the way that they characterize Charlie long before we ever get to meet him.
Yeah, he's one of the most active of all the brothers when it comes to the actual plot. His presence isn't felt anywhere near as much, but plot wise, he's been there since book one, which is nice.
Now this is the book version.
That's true.
All right, yeah, he never shows up in the movie. He's period,
which bugged me. And Bill only turned up when they realized, oh crap, he actually has to be here now, which bothered me.
And never
it's so
looked
random
anything
too.
like what I thought he was supposed to look like, but whatever.
Yes, yeah. He's supposed to be cool, and he's just not.
Not at all.
Yeah. But yeah, we have obviously the more discussion on that and the nature of the dragons, and Harry's like, there aren't any in Britain, are they? Oh yeah, Welsh greens and something black, Hebridean blacks,
Hebridean, something like that.
I think it's Hebridean. But yeah, and that kind of worries him understandably because apparently there are wild dragons flying around. It's one of those world building stuff as well. Like the Muggles have to be mind wiped every time they see one. How do the Ministry know to even track the ones that have seen them and such like that? It's a bit weird, but we'll go with it. As with
Loch Ness monster, anyone?
I mean, that's like that thing or that kind of stuff is the easiest for me to rationalize. There have to be just people whose job it is to wrangle dragons or try to just chase them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep them in
dragon
conservation
trackers.
areas that have the enchantments around them, stuff like that. You just hand wave it. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of exploration into that at some point. There's so many stuff that they could have dumped into that didn't. At least in
they're
the
supposed
books.
to do They're supposed to be doing the same thing for Muggles that wind up accidentally getting killed by running into giants too, as we find out later on. So I mean, this kind of stuff, and who knows, however, all the other magical creatures that are out there, this kind of stuff has to happen all the time.
Indeed. But yeah, we have more revision talk because they go back and they're still worried about the exams and such, which leads us into another funny line from Ron. I wonder what it's like to have a peaceful life. Which it becomes very relevant for the rest of the series, as we know.
Yeah.
Why is it when there's always trouble?
It's always you three. I still wish that had been in the book. It's one of the best moments from the films that was in an original piece.
Definitely.
And from McGonagall as well. It's perfect. But yeah, so they're musing about that. They get the letter from Hagrid. It's hatching. Malfoy overhears them talking about it. A nice bit of astuteness from Harry as well, because Ron and Hermione can tend to get a bit stuck in their heads as they're discussing this stuff, and Harry's like, "Oh, nope, be careful," which leads him to finding out when they go to the hut later on after their lessons. They watch I like the description of the actual the dragon hatching. It's described as like a crumpled black umbrella. Which I really like the single kind of sentence descriptions you can give to everything, and just it perfectly forms in your mind. It was very, very kind of interesting in that regard, at least for me.
I'm surprised it doesn't say a crumbled black bumbershoot.
I don't know where you got that from. Is it just me who?
I have no idea.
I've
Like,
never heard that phrase before. But
I've been told like my whole life that that's like a British term for an umbrella, and then it turns out like no, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
It may
when I said
well be,
that.
but I have literally never heard that phrase before. So
Maybe it's like really old. I don't know.
I don't know.
And this is like a running joke with me and Callan, by the way, because that's out of context for everyone else. Yeah.
True.
Anyway,
So it hatches, it starts to do its thing, getting used to being alive and all that. But unfortunately, Malfoy is standing in the window and sees what's going on.
Yeah, even in the book, the vision I had in my head of him just sprinting towards the castle was always a hilarious one. But so reinforced by the film, it was better. But just seeing him sprinting off, just and that awkwardly long time they could have sat there watching him do it, it's just pretty brilliant.
that's sort of like the funny thing is like in the movie. He runs straight to the castle and tattles to Professor McGonagall.
Which makes sense because in the book it's like a week and a bit. That's very big. Is something I noticed.
Couple days,
Plot hole. Why are you sitting on this?
I'm just gonna sit on this and
do a bit.
Bide my time, like a villain or whatever. I mean, so he can. Why are you doing this? I don't know, like because the plot.
Yeah, this is something like even like the what's the difference? YouTube series pointed out as being a little bit what. When they talked about the Harry Potter books.
It is unusual, to say the least. But yeah, Hermione makes the valid point of, Hagrid, you live in a wooden hut. This is the world's worst idea.
She says that as it's being born, and he's just so like, well, I read up on it, and you just feed it a bucket of brandy mixed with chicken blood every half hour. There's nothing unreasonable about that. It's great. He's completely.
Yeah, by the way, whiskey and chicken blood. What? Like how?
Apparently, they're
how does that work? How is that dragon?
What I want to know is what kind of trial and error do you have to go through to find out?
I was about to say, how does that discovered? Was some dragon wrangler just drinking one day and he accidentally dropped his bottle in a chicken coop or something?
I mean, there's a year's worth of study. I mean, you think Dumbledore figured out the 12 uses of dragon's blood like overnight? No. Lots of trial and error.
Good point, I guess.
But yeah, they decided to contact Charlie. He gets back to them.
What I love about that, which I guess we get his letter later, but what I love about it is Charlie's not like, what? You want me to do what? He's just like,
okay.
All right, yeah, I can help out with this. Like,
basically,
this has to have been,
he's
very nice about it.
Growing up, being like the older brother of the twins. Like, I've dealt with this like many
but also
times.
he sees the name Hagrid like somewhere, and he's like, well, okay,
that's true. Yeah. But I mean, he's not even like, this is crazy, but I'll help out. He's just like, this is par for the course for my Wednesday. That's what
we'll get to it later. But there's a plot hole attached to this entire plan as well. But we'll get there at the close of the chapter. But yeah, so they send the letter. It comes back. Ron is going to be absent from this part of the chapter because he's been bitten by Norbert, which turns out to be poisonous. But you and I had forgotten the reason, hadn't we?
Yeah, because we pinned down that he's not in the forest, like in the book. He's not in the movie. He is, right? Like when they get detention and sent out to the forest, but he's not there in the books, and we couldn't remember what it was, but it is. That's because he was bitten by the dragon, and it like infected his hand.
And I like that he didn't go straight away. It's a small detail, but it makes point of the fact that he waited. Would she be able to identify a dragon bite? But then got to the point where I need to go regardless.
Yeah, swelling up, like getting all infected.
I do feel like though, in a place where you have all kinds of toxins and like from potions class, like could you not have come up with a better lie than you were bit by a dog? And also, what dog?
Well,
what dog is it?
That's true. The lie could have been better.
Yeah.
But 10-year-olds, I guess.
I ran into Sirius Black and he just bit me. I don't know why. Well, he does get bitten by a dog later. So.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, the dog. But it gets to the another kind of plot contrivance I didn't like with him in the hospital wing and Malfoy happening to come visit, happening to use this book as an excuse, him happening to have left the letter in this particular book he has for some reason.
This is the kind of thing. That kind of thing happens all the time throughout this series. It's just normally it's done subtly and it's not all crammed into the one chapter. You know what I mean? It's like it's all the time where like she sprinkles in little details and they come back up later when somebody's memory is jogged or whatever, when like those little things are like dropped early. You know what I mean? But this is like, okay, we just got the letter. The letter's in my book. I've been sent to hospital wing. Here's Malfoy acting like an asshole. He's going to borrow that book with that letter. It's just all condensed into one chapter.
And not led to as properly as well as it should be. And yeah, you're right. It's definitely something that's pretty much unique to the early books. And if by nothing else, the length of the books gives her more time to stretch these things. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, this is all in one chapter.
Yeah,
that's why it stands
crazy.
out to you, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how Malfoy knows the specific date that they're going to try and get rid of Norbert.
And this would have been the time. This would have been the time to just take the evidence straight to Snape, and take the evidence to Snape, and then you're good. Like, what are you doing?
Instead, he waits till the middle of night to go wandering around, then to find a teacher. I mean, what was his plan before getting caught by McGonagall?
Well, I think he just wanted to spy on them doing it, and then bust them somehow. He certainly wasn't looking for McGonagall. She found him.
But what was his plan? Why was he up there?
It's a very ill-conceived plan. That's the thing. It's very ill-conceived. This was a half-baked plan.
Malfoy is a terrible bully, as you said in the previous chapter.
Yes.
But yeah, so Harry and Hermione go to the hut alone because Ron's indisposed. Grab this crate. Under the it brings to question how big the cloak is, because they managed to cover both themselves and a presumably large crate that they then drag all the way up to the top of the tower.
I always got the impression it's supposed to be much bigger than it looks in the films, from the way it's described.
Yeah, because it is his father's cloak, so it's probably for the size of an adult.
Yeah, and it has to be full.
It was supposed to be
completely shrouding them over.
It was supposed to be big enough for the Marauders ought to be under it, late in their school years, presumably even when they're transformed, is I think the way that they described it. So yeah, I mean, it's big.
I mean, obviously they make note of the fact that their feet aren't quite covered or with them all under it later on in the books. So it's not huge, but it has to be big enough, a hefty amount of cloth for even a full-grown man for any of this to make sense. But anyway, that's just random nitpick. It was just worth noting. They managed to drag this extremely heavy crate, presumably all the way up to the top of the tower. Up with great expensive effort, and they meet Charlie's friends, who somehow managed to get into Hogwarts by just flying in and landing on the tower. I mean, I feel like there was something called security around this extremely enchanted castle. Did Dumbledore just kind of get an alarm and go, and just turn it off as he saw them flying in?
It's in his bed.
I will say this. It's very possible that with Dumbledore's busy schedule, I'm sure in the back of his mind, he's been keeping an eye out. He goes, "Yeah, Hagrid's got a dragon in his house. I mean, it's the middle of summer. He's got a fire going. He's hatching a dragon in there." So he's going, "You know what? I don't need this problem. If they're going to take that dragon off my hands, just go ahead." He knows. He just left the door open. Take it away. Go.
Yeah, that's how I imagine it happening. It's just a case of he senses them coming through the shield, and he's like, "Yeah, all right, whatever."
Yeah. This
literal
in one less thing for me to have to. Yeah, I don't have to discipline now. I don't have to get rid of the. It's one less thing on my plate.
Yeah, I like how they were a cheery bunch as well. Just it's a small detail, but they were nice, people for them to meet. It's a good thing to note for these kids because they're meeting almost, if not fully grown adults. So it's nice to have them have some little measure of personality attached to them, and they shake hands and they send Norbert away on this harness between them, culminating in them basically getting deservedly caught because they deserve this.
I was looking at your note there where you said getting deservedly caught, and I was mystified because I was like, wait, what? I mean, whose team are you on? You want them to get caught? I thought you were taking a stand on them breaking school rules when you wrote that, but it is true.
How dare they? But anyway, they run into Filch, and he gets a pretty great line. Just like in the last chapter, we end on a pretty...
Yeah, we are in trouble.
That was pretty decent. Version. That's what he sounded like, yeah. Yeah. And, this isn't the only time that they do this, by the way. Leave the cloak somewhere.
No. Or just don't take it in the first place for whatever reason. It's a bit... they deserve to get caught for this. They have the ultimate tool at their disposal, and they just leave it on the floor of the tower. I mean, it could have blown away in the wind for all they know. This is a terrible, terrible situation that they've
I just thought, how do you find the invisibility cloak?
Well, it's not. It's visible when it's not being worn, isn't it? Because he describes the silken kind of smooth material before.
But it's supposed to be It's supposed to look like water woven into silk or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
whatever.
Who knows?
Anyway,
they get caught. That's the end of the chapter,
right?
And
that's how it ends. Yeah,
that is the close of it. Interesting chapter, fun chapter. Hagrid's a bit of an idiot, and they have to solve that problem. Basically, sums it up. A lot happens.
A little bit more of an advancement in the.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say a little bit more advancement in the Nicholas Flamel plot. Learning about the stones, spells and all that.
The enchantments
which
and
is
such.
which comes up towards the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, heavy-handed on the writing, but we've already discussed that, so I guess we can end up now ram this one up.
Yeah. This, like the last chapter, is a getting characters from point A to point B sort of chapter, but it's fun.
I like, the dragon is literally put in there just to make this fun, to have the point A be interesting and
I
engaging.
mean, it's really only in Hagrid's possession for like 2 pages.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and it's it's an example of that. One of those things where it feels like longer as well. Like looking back on it, it feels like it was longer than that. These chapters felt like entire books in my mind when I was a kid, and they're passing in seconds now. So it's interesting how she can do that. Make you forget that, like we said with the Mirror of Erised scene in particular, Dumbledore talking to Harry, that's 1 page. Yeah. And it feels so much longer. Strength of her writing and her cadence and her flow. But yeah, so that's what those are our thoughts on this chapter, guys. Looking forward to the next one. We're getting close to the end of the book now. It's wrapping up.
Yes.
I'm ready for, and I still don't have an outro.
Grigida 91. Bye-bye.
Evan Nova 95. We hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys later. And mischief managed.
Goodbye.